How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Why is crypto falling? Why is Bitcoin falling? I want to talk about that. Talk about what's happening in the market because we have had a lot of good news recently, and yet crypto is falling. So for a lot of newcomers, they might be wondering why this is. For a lot of people that have been around throughout the bear market, they might say, hey, crypto's not really falling that much, but I want to explain it. Also talk about the news. So no matter where you fit on that spectrum, I would definitely watch through to the end of the video. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on that bell notification underneath the video. Before we get started, there is a link to crypto.com underneath the video. I would highly suggest checking it out. They're one of the best crypto exchanges, especially for us in the US. Our options have really been cut down, and crypto.com offers over 250 different cryptocurrencies with competitive fees. So check out that link underneath the video. Now let's get into it. Bitcoin is down around 36,000. We actually saw it fall down under 36,000 just a few hours ago. We have other cryptos falling down pretty significantly from the recent high. I mean, Solana flew up to $65 or something like that recently. Now it's down at $55. A lot of people might be saying, why is that happening? I bought at the exact top. When is it going to move back up? So we're going to talk about that. But first, I want to talk about some of the news. So over the last couple hours, we got news that the CPI came in lower than expected. It came in at 3.2% versus the 3.3% expected. Core CPI also came in under expectation. Now, what do I see when I look at this? We have pretty much a straight line down and then a little bit of a bump, and it looks like we're going to continue moving down. We're bound to get some kind of bounce like this at some point, and if we get another good month next month, I think we will continue to see the markets rally behind this. Why? Because this means basically the Fed can stop aggressively raising rates and actually look at lowering rates, because there are some issues keeping rates as high as they are. We're seeing a lot of things break, whether it's the housing market, whether it's the car market. I was actually just talking about someone about that, which isn't the worst thing. But we also see extreme amounts of debt repayment for the US government, and this can cause a problem. So if we continue to see this falling down, there's a likelihood that we will start moving down on interest rates next year, and that helps out any kind of risk assets. It helps out the stock market. It helps companies get loans at cheaper prices or cheaper interest rates. It helps companies reinvest in themselves and get cheap money. It helps cryptocurrency because more people are willing to invest in it if there's lower cost of capital. So you can see the NASDAQ actually up 2% today. However, crypto is not really moving up too much. Of course, we did move up a little bit when the news was announced, but now, we're falling down a little bit. I will say too, if you're trying to trade crypto, I'll leave a link to Margex. You can actually make money from shorting crypto. Like, you can short on leverage. Of course, I'm not saying that's a smart thing by any means. Make sure you know what you're doing, but I'll leave a link to it because you can actually make money as the market falls down. Dollar index is down at 104.26, which you can actually see, if this loads, is a pretty big drop off. We fell from 105.50 to 104.26. That's a big move in a day. And this is the lowest level that we've seen since early September. So this is bullish for risk assets as well. We also have news. China, a Chinese company, Boya, is going to be investing $90 million into Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is what's being told to you on Twitter. If you dig into this a little bit more, it still needs to be approved by the shareholders, but they are trying to get approval for this, which means that they probably will at some point. Most shareholders allow companies to do what they want to do. And they're trying to buy $45 million worth of Bitcoin, $45 million of Ethereum, and then $10 million of stable coins. Now, what does that tell me? That they're buying stablecoins is maybe one of the most interesting parts about it. Of course, it's great for Bitcoin, great for Ethereum. It's another company that's buying a significant amount. It's going to cause some selling pressure. It looks like they're going to do this over about a year, but they're buying stablecoin too, which is interesting. Most companies that are just buying it for investment wouldn't invest in a stablecoin unless they were going to use it. Now, this is a board and card game company. Maybe they're looking to do something bigger than just buy. If they include USDT, what is their long-term plan? I'm not exactly sure, but I'm sure we're going to see it unfold over the coming months. Hopefully this gets approved here soon too. And they're not the only company that's going in and trying to get their hands on some crypto here today. We got news that Disney is going to launch an NFT platform. Entertainment giant Disney will launch an NFT collectibles platform with NBA Top Shot maker Dapper Labs called Disney Pinnacle. This is just being announced today. Inspired by the physical pins that Disney sells at the theme parks and that fans collect and trade, Disney Pinnacle will offer pin-inspired digital collectibles that are minted as NFTs on the Flow blockchain, the same network as NBA Top Shot and NFL All Day. Now, something that is not in this article is the fact that they've worked with Matic before, Polygon, and there's no mention of it here, which is kind of interesting because Polygon's actually up almost 4% on the day. I haven't really seen much news on Polygon, and Flow is only up 0.04%. They had a pump when this happened, and then it fell pretty much right back down. It pumped a good amount too, from 64 cents to 73 cents. So big move there from Flow, and now coming right back down. But overall, another big company jumping into crypto, jumping into NFTs, giving a use case or explaining the use case to thousands, if not millions of people, I think is a benefit to all of crypto. So why are we moving down? Well, I think it's important to remember that we will most likely continue to move up. Interest rates are likely to come down at some point. At least they're likely to stop hiking. Jerome Powell and the Fed give lots of speeches. After the market rallies, they want to say that we're not sure if we're done raising interest rates, but most likely they are done or very near the top. The cost of debt is too high. The U.S. federal debt that's maturing here over the next 12 months is massive. I mean, we're looking at trillions of dollars. So the amount that they'll have to pay on that debt continues to move up as well. The amount of interest that they have to pay, the bonds, the bond yields that they have to give out, it's really high. So this makes it likely that they're going to start lowering rates, which means that, that in addition to growing adoption, the change in accounting rules, the Bitcoin halving, the SEC approval of an ETF, all that will probably force up the price of Bitcoin and crypto as a whole. Now, why is Bitcoin falling right now? Probably some liquidations, some retracement, and honestly, it doesn't really matter what's making it fall down today. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but sometimes there isn't like a huge reason. Sometimes it's just price action. People are taking profits. We moved up pretty quickly. I mean, if you look here and zoom out a little bit, just zoom out a little bit. This is the last about a year, maybe a little bit less than a year. And you can see we made big moves from 19,000 up to 24, back down, back up. And a lot of the time we will retrace. Again, I'm not sure why TradingView is flickering like this on me, but we will retrace and bounce off of previous resistance. You can see resistance over here, and then support here, and make big moves. So honestly, if we retrace down to 32,000, people will call it really bearish. People on Twitter and YouTube will say, hey, we might crash back down to 25K or 20K or something like that. But if we retrace down to 32,000 and then bounce off of it, that could be actually really bullish from a technical analysis standpoint. Now, would I like to fall down that low? I wouldn't mind picking up some more Bitcoin, but I don't think we'll necessarily fall that low. I think we might retrace a little bit, but you can see we've had some pretty good support in this channel. I can zoom in a little bit here. We had some pretty good support where we bounced off of it like 4 or 5 times in this channel. Maybe we just bounce off of 35,000 something, or maybe we just consolidate here. We did that for a while here. We consolidated for a long time. It was very boring for the most part. And we've seen that in bear markets before. We've seen that in the most recent bear market. So just because we're falling down a little bit, retracing, $1,500 is not that bearish. Really, it's fine. I would look bigger term. I would look longer term. I would look bigger picture. And honestly, you'll realize it doesn't really matter. It's just a buying in opportunity. Same thing with some smaller altcoins. We might see some bleeding to Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance could go up here soon. We've seen a bit of a retrace on Bitcoin dominance, but from a TA standpoint as well, I think we could see dominance go up another 3, 4, 5%, something like that, especially with the ETF ahead of the next Bitcoin halving event. But also, I'm not necessarily going to miss out on all the altcoin gains. So I think there's too big an opportunity in some altcoins to wait until I think Bitcoin dominance is fully peaked out. I think dollar cost averaging makes a lot of sense. So I am dollar cost averaging. So if you want to know what I'm doing, you can check out the Patreon underneath the video. And just as a reminder to everyone new, be careful of security. Be careful of hacks and emails. OpenSea just said this. I actually saw this in my spam account or my spam folder yesterday. I had some email from OpenSea, but of course it's not actually OpenSea. It's some hacker, or not even a hacker. It's because they didn't get hacked. It's someone just trying to scam me. It's a scammer trying to get me to click a link to transfer my assets or migrate my assets or do whatever. And they just want you to click the link so that they can drain your wallets. So be careful. Don't trust anyone without verifying. And almost all crypto companies that I can think of, all of them, just use this as a rule. They won't reach out to you and ask you to do anything. Like, they might make an announcement, but they're not going to personally reach out to you and ask you to click a link or anything like that. They're never going to ask you to migrate your assets. They won't do that. Things move slowly on crypto platforms, and if anything were to happen, you'd hear it in the news for a while. And again, they won't ask you to click something because that's just too scammy. Now, if you want to click something, though, you can click on the links underneath the video, sign up for the platforms, and try them out, tryoutcrypto.com. So thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next